Hello everyone, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever heard of a church that's Eastern in its traditions, speaks a language close to what Jesus spoke, allows married priests, but has always been Catholic and loyal to the Pope in Rome? It sounds like a fascinating puzzle, but it's real. This is the Maronite Church, and today, we're going to uncover its incredible story. What makes the Maronites so unique? Like many other Eastern churches, which might have an Orthodox counterpart due to historical splits, the Maronites don't. They have maintained an unbroken communion with the Pope for over 1,500 years. There is no Maronite Orthodox Church because, simply put, they never left. So, how did this ancient community manage to navigate the turbulent history of Christianity while carving out such a distinct identity? Let's dive in. Our story begins not with a grand council or a king, but with a humble hermit named Maron. In the 4th century, in the region of ancient Syria, Saint Maron lived a life of intense prayer, asceticism, and devotion. He was known for his wisdom and healing powers, and soon a community of followers gathered around him, inspired by his profound faith. After his death, his disciples founded a monastery called Bet Maron, or the House of Maron. This monastery became a spiritual powerhouse and a center of learning. A crucial moment in Christian history came in the year 451 with the Council of Chalcedon. The council debated the very nature of Jesus Christ. The conclusion was that Jesus is one person with two natures, fully divine and fully human. While this might seem like a theological detail today, it was a massive point of contention back then. The monastery of Bet Maron and its followers became staunch defenders of the Chalcedonian teaching. This decision, however, caused a major split. Many in the East, particularly in the Syriac and Coptic churches, rejected the council's formula. Those who remained loyal to the council and the universal church, centered around the legacy of Saint Maron, began to be known as the Maronites. This is a key part of their identity. They are proudly Chalcedonian. Their loyalty, however, came at a cost. Facing persecution from other Christian groups who disagreed with them, the Maronites needed a safe haven. Starting in the 5th century and continuing through the 8th, they began migrating from the plains of Syria to the rugged protective mountains of Lebanon. This move was pivotal. The Holy Valley of Kadisha, a deep gorge with caves and hermitages carved into cliffs, became their sanctuary. Here, under the shade of the iconic cedars of Lebanon, the Maronite identity was forged in resilience and faith. The mountains weren't just a refuge. It became a spiritual homeland. The history of the Maronites became inseparable from the history of Lebanon itself. To this day, this connection is so profound that Lebanon's constitution mandates that the president of the country must always be a Maronite Christian. The Maronite Church is led by a patriarch, who holds the title of Patriarch of Antioch. Antioch, now in modern-day Turkey, was one of the great ancient centers of Christianity. It's where the followers of Christ were first called Christians. The current patriarch, as of 2025, is Cardinal Bekra Boutros al-Rahi, who resides in Burkark, Lebanon. He is the spiritual father to Maronites all over the world. While he leads an autonomous, self-governing church, he does so in full communion with the Pope in Rome. This brings us to one of the most defining features of the Maronite Church, its relationship with Rome. The Maronites are one of 23 Eastern Catholic churches. This means they are fully Catholic. They accept all Catholic doctrines and recognize the Pope as the head of the universal church. But they aren't Roman Catholics. They have their own distinct hierarchy, laws, and liturgical traditions that reflect their ancient Eastern heritage. This is a beautiful example of the Catholic Church's true universality. It's not a monolith, but a communion of diverse traditions united in one faith. The Maronite motto, "The Glory of Lebanon," has been given to her, speaks to this unique gift they bring to the wider church. Now let's talk about what makes their tradition so special. When you attend a Maronite liturgy called the Carbono, you might hear something truly amazing. While the main language is now Arabic, certain sacred prayers and hymns are still recited in Syriac Aramaic. This is a dialect of the Aramaic language that Jesus Christ himself would have spoken. Hearing these ancient words chanted in prayer is like stepping back in time, connecting directly to the earliest days of Christianity. Their liturgy belongs to the West Syriac Antiochian tradition, a rich heritage of poetry, music, and profound theological expression that is very different from the Roman Rite most Catholics are familiar with. Another interesting practice is that the Maronite Church, like many Eastern churches, has a tradition of married clergy. Men who are already married can be ordained as deacons and priests. However, the discipline is that once a man is ordained, he cannot get married. And bishops are always chosen from the celibate clergy, often from monasteries, which highlights another core aspect of their identity: monasticism. Remember, their spiritual father, Saint Maron, was a hermit, and the church was born from a monastic movement. This tradition of asceticism and deep prayer life continues to be a cherished part of their spirituality. Speaking of spirituality, the Maronites have given the world some incredible saints. Perhaps the most famous is Saint Charbel Makhlouf, a 19th century Lebanese monk and hermit. He lived a life of extreme prayer and penance, and after his death, countless miracles were attributed to his intercession. His tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, is a major pilgrimage site for Christians and even non-Christians from all over the world who come seeking healing and peace. His story is a powerful testament to the deep mystical spirituality that thrives within the Maronite tradition. This small but resilient church has spread far beyond the mountains of Lebanon. Today, you can find Maronite communities all around the world, from Australia to Brazil to the United States. They have established eparchies, which are the Eastern equivalent of dioceses, to serve their faithful in the diaspora, carrying their unique traditions with them wherever they go. They bring their deep love for the family, their vibrant hospitality, and their unwavering faith to every corner of the globe. In a powerful symbol of this global connection and the importance of the Maronite Church, in November 2025, the newly elected Pope, Leo XIV, chose Lebanon for his very first international papal visit. He traveled to the shrine of Our Lady of Lebanon in Harissa, overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, to meet with Maronite leaders. In a region often marked by turmoil, his visit was a profound message of peace, solidarity, and recognition of the Maronites' vital role as a bridge between East and West. So, to recap, what are the 5 key marks that define the Maronite Church? First, they are Antiochian, sharing a heritage with the city where the disciples were first called Christians. Second, they are Chalcedonian, affirming that Jesus is both true God and true man. Third, their church is patriarchal and monastic, rooted in the tradition of their hermit founder, Saint Maron. Fourth, they have a deep and unbroken fidelity to the Pope and the See of Rome. And fifth, they are intrinsically tied to their spiritual homeland of Lebanon. The Maronite Church is a living testament to the beautiful diversity within Christianity. It shows us that to be Catholic is not just to be Roman, but to be part of a global family of faith that breathes with 2 lungs, East and West. Their story is one of incredible perseverance, deep spirituality, and unwavering loyalty. They are a people who found refuge in the mountains, and from there, offered their unique gift to the entire world. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the Maronite Church. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you learned something new, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the rich tapestry of our world's cultures and faiths. You can also consider becoming a member of our channel or making a one-time donation through Super Thanks. Your support will greatly help in our mission. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you in the next video, and God bless you always.